What if I told you that the room you're standing in right now is costing you money while you sleep, and that a home the size of your living room could set you completely free? Stick around, because by the end of this video, I'm going to show you the one room in this tiny home that nobody expects. The one that made me stop filming and just stare. If you've ever thought tiny homes are cute, but not real living, this video is going to change your mind, room by room. Before we step inside, hit subscribe and tap that bell, because I post full home tours every single week, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming up on this channel. Also, drop a comment right now telling me which room you think is the hardest to shrink down. Kitchen? Bathroom? We'll find out together. Okay, let's go inside. This is 2026. Home prices are still brutal. According to recent U.S. housing data, the median price of a traditional home is sitting north of $400,000, and a brand new average American home, about 2,200 square feet, is running somewhere between $470,000 and $520,000. That's the reality most people are living in right now. And that's exactly why more people than ever are turning to tiny homes. We're talking real, livable, beautifully designed homes that cost a fraction of that, sometimes 6 to 8 times less. But tiny doesn't mean cramped, and it definitely doesn't mean boring. Today, I'm walking you through an entire tiny home, room by room, showing you exactly how every single square foot is used, what it actually costs in 2026, and the design tricks that make 300 square feet feel like a real home. By the time we get to the last room, you're going to understand why so many people are choosing small on purpose. So don't skip ahead. Every room builds on the last one, and the ending genuinely surprised me. Let's start right at the front door, because most people completely ignore this space, and that's a mistake. In a tiny home, your entryway isn't just a door. It's your mudroom, your coat closet, your shoe rack, and sometimes your entire storage system for the outdoors, all packed into about 10 to 15 square feet. Look at this. A slim built-in bench that flips open to reveal boot storage underneath. Hooks mounted vertically instead of spread out horizontally, because vertical space is basically free real estate in tiny home. And a mirror that doubles as a cabinet door. Here's the thing nobody tells you. This 5 square foot entry is doing the job of an entire mudroom in a regular house. That's the entire philosophy of tiny living in one spot. Every object earns its place by doing at least 2 jobs. Now step through into the living room, and this is where a lot of people expect things to feel cramped. It doesn't. Notice the ceiling height here. Many builders in 2026 are pushing for 9 to 10 foot ceilings in the main living area, specifically to avoid that boxed-in feeling, even though the footprint might only be 12 by 14 feet. The couch you're looking at isn't just a couch. Pull this cushion, and there's a queen-size guest bed underneath. Lift the ottoman lid, and that's blanket storage. Even the coffee table has a hollow center that raises up into a dining table for 4. This is what designers call transformer furniture, and honestly, it's the single biggest reason tiny homes work in the first place. A traditional living room might have a sofa, a coffee table, a media console, and a guest bed all as separate pieces of furniture eating up 4 different footprints. Here, it's one object doing 4 jobs. And look at the windows, floor to ceiling on the south-facing wall. That's not just for the view. Natural light is one of the cheapest, most effective ways to make a small space feel twice its actual size. And most tiny home designers will tell you window placement matters more than square footage when it comes to how big a home feels. Quick gut check before we move on. If you had to give up one piece of multi-function furniture like this, which would it be? The sofa bed or the transforming table? Let me know in the comments, because it actually says a lot about your lifestyle. Okay, this is the room everyone assumes will be the biggest compromise. Let's be honest about it, instead of pretending it's perfect. A tiny home kitchen is typically 6 to 8 feet of counter space, a 2-burner induction cooktop instead of a full range, a combo washer-dryer tucked under the counter, and a fridge that's closer to what you'd find in a nice hotel room than a suburban kitchen. That is a real trade-off. If you cook elaborate 5-course meals every night for a family of 6, a tiny kitchen is going to frustrate you. I want to be straight with you about that, instead of just showing you the pretty parts. But here's what most people don't expect. Because everything is so close together, this kitchen is actually more efficient to cook in than a lot of full-size kitchens. Watch this. I can reach the stove, the sink, and the fridge without taking a single step. Kitchen designers call that the working triangle, and in a tiny home, that triangle basically shrinks down to arm's length. On cost, and this is one of the most expensive rooms per square foot in any tiny build. Plumbing and electrical work here typically make this the single priciest zone in the entire house, alongside the bathroom. In 2026, kitchen finishes and appliances alone can eat up close to a quarter of your total build budget, even in a home this size. So if you're planning your own build, don't shortchange the kitchen thinking it'll be cheap just because it's small. It usually isn't. What you gain in exchange is almost no wasted motion, almost no wasted food because there's no room to overbuy groceries, and honestly, way less to clean. This is the room I get asked about more than any other, so let's really dig into it. A tiny home bathroom is usually somewhere between 20 and 35 square feet. For comparison, that's about the size of a standard walk-in closet in a regular house. And yet, look at this. A full walk-in shower with a glass door instead of a curtain, which instantly makes the whole room feel bigger. A composting or low-flow toilet. And here's a stat that actually surprised me during research. Switching to a waterless toilet setup can cut a household's water usage by roughly a quarter. That's not a small number when you're paying for water out in a remote or off-grid location. The sink here is wall-mounted, no vanity underneath, which opens up the floor and makes the whole room read as bigger than it is. And storage is entirely vertical. A recessed medicine cabinet built directly into the wall stud space, which costs almost nothing extra during framing, but saves you from ever needing a separate cabinet. Now, the honest part. Ventilation and moisture control matter enormously in a space this small. A poorly ventilated tiny bathroom can develop mold problems fast because there's just less air volume to dilute humidity. Any legitimate builder is going to insist on either a serious exhaust fan or an energy recovery ventilator. If you ever tour a tiny home and the bathroom smells musty, that's your red flag, not a quirky feature. Cost-wise, along with the kitchen, this is where your plumber earns their fee. Custom routing for water lines in a space this tight, combined with code-compliant venting, is genuinely skilled work, and it's priced accordingly. I want to pause the room-by-room tour for a second, because storage in a tiny home isn't really a room. It's a system woven through every single room we've already seen, and it deserves its own spotlight. Look under this staircase, 3 pull-out drawers. Look above the kitchen cabinets. An extra 6 inches of dead space most homes waste, reclaimed here for seasonal storage. Look at the base of that bed frame. Hydraulic lift storage for anything you only need once a season, like winter coats or holiday decorations. The rule that separates a good tiny home from a frustrating one is this. Nothing sits still just for the sake of looking nice. Every surface either opens, lifts, slides, or folds. If you tour a tiny home and the builder can't tell you what's inside every wall cavity and every stair riser, that's usually a sign the design was not strategic enough. Okay, remember at the very beginning I told you there was one room that made me stop and stare? This is it. Are you ready? It's the outdoor room. I know that sounds like a trick, but stay with me, because this might be the single smartest move in the entire design. Step outside through these sliding glass doors, and this deck, built at the exact same height as the interior floor, with 0 threshold, instantly becomes an extension of the living room. In good weather, this deck effectively doubles your usable living space for free. No extra framing lumber, no plumbing, no permits beyond a basic deck permit in most areas, just square footage you can actually live in. And this is the part that genuinely changed how I think about tiny homes. The entire design philosophy isn't cram everything into 300 square feet. It's design 300 square feet indoors, and then design an outdoor space that completes the home. A covered pergola over half the deck means you can use this space even when it's raining lightly. A small built-in bench doubles as extra outdoor storage for cushions and gear. This is why so many tiny homeowners say their home doesn't feel tiny at all once they've lived in it for a few months, because they stop mentally separating inside from outside. The whole property becomes the living space, not just the 4 walls. Now let's talk honestly about money, because I promised you real, current data, not fluff. In 2026, tiny homes typically run somewhere between $150 and $400 per square foot. Yes, that's often more per square foot than a regular house. because plumbing, electrical, and code compliance costs don't shrink just because the house does. A standard new home runs closer to $150 to $200 per square foot. So per square foot, tiny homes are not automatically the cheaper option. But total cost is a completely different story. Most professionally built, fully finished tiny homes on wheels in 2026 land somewhere between $60,000 and $130,000 all in, with a lot of buyers settling around $80,000 to $100,000 for a turnkey, high-quality build. DIY builds can come in dramatically lower. Some hands-on builders are completing homes for $15,000 to $40,000, though that route demands real skill, hundreds of hours of labor, and a high tolerance for troubleshooting your own plumbing at 11 at night. Compare that to a same-size, 3-bedroom home built conventionally on-site, which in 2026 can run over $300,000. And factory-built tiny homes are saving buyers somewhere in the range of 40 to 60% for equivalent livable square footage. That gap is the entire reason this movement keeps growing every single year. One more honest number. The sweet spot, according to most 2026 builders, sits around 250 to 300 square feet. Go much smaller, and your cost per square foot spikes because you're still paying for a full kitchen and bathroom system crammed into a tighter shell. Go much bigger, and you start losing the financial and mobility advantages that made tiny living appealing in the first place. I'm not going to end this video pretending tiny homes are perfect for everyone, because they're not, and I'd rather you know that now than find out after you've sold your furniture. Storage discipline is real. You cannot impulse buy the way you might in a bigger home. There's simply nowhere to put it. Guests are a genuine logistical puzzle. That fold-out sofa bed we saw earlier works great for one guest, not for your entire extended family visiting for a holiday. Zoning and permitting still vary wildly by city and county in 2026. So what's legal in one town might require a special variance in the next one over. And resale can be trickier than a traditional home, simply because the buyer pool is smaller, even though it's steadily growing. If none of that scares you off, though, the upside is enormous. Lower utility bills because you're heating and cooling a fraction of the space, lower maintenance because there's less roof, less siding, and fewer systems to repair, and for a lot of owners, genuinely less financial stress because the mortgage, if there even is one, is a fraction of what a traditional home would cost. Before we wrap up, I want to cover 2 questions that flood my comment section every single time I post a tiny home tour, because they matter just as much as the rooms themselves. First, financing. A lot of people assume you have to pay cash for a tiny home, and a few years ago that was mostly true. That changed. In 2026, several manufacturers now offer in-house financing on manufacturer and factory-built models, with some programs starting around a few $100s a month and down payments as low as 5%. No minimum credit score required on certain plans. Traditional homes on wheels classified as RVs are trickier. Banks often treat them like vehicle loans rather than mortgages, which usually means a shorter loan term and a higher interest rate. But homes built to HUD manufactured housing code, sitting on a permanent foundation, can sometimes qualify for actual mortgage-style financing, which is a meaningful difference if you're planning to stay put for a while. My advice, and I say this in every finance video I make, get pre-approved before you fall in love with a floor plan, because the financing category can eliminate certain builds before you even start comparing kitchens. Second, off-grid living, because I know a chunk of you watching are dreaming about disappearing into the woods with a home exactly like this one. It's absolutely possible, but let's be straight about the cost curve. Adding a legitimate off-grid solar array, battery storage, a proper water catchment and filtration system, and either a septic system or composting toilet setup can add anywhere from $15,000 to $40,000 on top of your base build cost, depending on your climate and how much independence you actually want. The payoff is real. No utility bills, no dependence on the grid during outages, and genuine freedom to place your home somewhere without existing infrastructure. But it is a bigger upfront number, and I don't want anyone watching this thinking off-grid is the budget version of tiny living. Usually it's the opposite. If you're weighing grid-tied versus off-grid, here's the simplest way to think about it. Grid-tied gets you a lower upfront cost and predictable monthly bills. Off-grid gets you a higher upfront cost and long-term independence. Neither one is wrong. It just depends on whether you're optimizing for day one affordability or 10 years from now freedom. Let's do a rapid round of the questions I get asked constantly, because I know some of you are still deciding if this lifestyle is even for you. Can a family live in a tiny home? Yes, but it takes real intentionality. Most families who make it work either choose a large or tiny home in the 400 to 600 square foot range, or they lean heavily on that outdoor living space we just walked through. Do tiny homes actually save money long term? For most owners, yes. Lower utility costs, lower maintenance, and often no mortgage at all, or a dramatically smaller one, adds up fast over a decade. Is it hard to get approved to place one? It depends entirely on your local zoning, and this is genuinely the most unpredictable part of the whole process in 2026. Some counties have fully embraced tiny homes as accessory dwelling units, and others still treat them like a legal gray area. Always check before you build, not after. So let's recap the whole tour in 10 seconds. Entryway that works twice as hard as it looks. A living room built entirely around furniture that transforms. A kitchen that trades size for efficiency. A bathroom that proves small doesn't mean cheap to build. A bedroom decision that actually shapes your daily life. A storage system woven into every wall. And that outdoor deck, the room that quietly doubles the whole house. If this tour changed how you think about tiny living, even a little, let me know in the comments. I read every single one, and honestly, some of the best home tour ideas on this channel have come straight from you. And if you want to see the full build cost breakdown for this exact home, room by room, dollar by dollar, I've got that video linked right here, and I promise the numbers in that one might surprise you even more than today's did. One last thing before you go, if you're seriously considering going tiny, don't just watch tours like this one and daydream. Write down your actual non-negotiables. How many people need to sleep here? Whether you're cooking real meals or mostly reheating, and whether you need to be near a city or you're happy being off the grid entirely. That short list will save you more money than any budgeting spreadsheet ever will. Subscribe if you're new here, hit that notification bell so you don't miss next week's tour, and I will see you in the next one.